Kevin, please join me on the stage over here. And for those of you who have not met Kevin, Kevin is a master storyteller. I recommend you follow this guy on Facebook. He tells really compelling stories. He is also the founder of Copy Chief. There's a conference, Copy Chief Live, or at least used to be pre-corona. I'm sure it's coming back. There's a whole community of copywriters. So Kevin, the stage is yours.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you having me. It's always great to hang out with you, Pep. And I love how you set this up, because what I'm going to share today is a framework anybody can use to tell their story. And even though it follows a framework or formula, it's going to feel super unique. And I'm going to set my timer to make sure that I stay on time. So I spent my 20s. At the age of 18, I walked onto a stand-up comedy stage for the very first time. And I was hooked right away. Not like they took me off with a hook, but I was hooked on stand-up. And so I spent the next decade of my life touring nationally as a stand-up comedian. It was an amazing way to spend your 20s when you don't have any, sense about living past the age of 30, and rolled into the next town on gas fumes, usually stayed pretty broke, but had an amazing time. Worked with Chris Rock, worked with Louis C.K., worked with a lot of big name comedians, Dave Chappelle, and it was a blast. And but then so as a result of spending all those nights sitting, watching comedy, writing comedy, performing comedy, began to see some formulas and some patterns about when to use certain jokes where. And when I later retired from comedy and started doing copywriting, obviously these formulas became much more relevant to me in wanting to, put out the best copy possible. So what formula would I use in this place to make sure it's going to get attention? There's a lot of parallels between stand-up comedy and copywriting. We have to win attention. We have to put across our brand, like Pep was just saying, right? People are going to look at us in an instant and go, what's this person about? And then we got to surprise them a little, right? So we can use those things like perceptions to our advantage. And so I began to realize that there are formulas we can use from comedy and copywriting. And so today I'm going to teach you one that I call the 60-second sales hook. And it's super simple. It's 5 lines. And it's an old joke formula that I just changed the last part of to make it a sales hook formula. All right. So first I'm going to teach you the joke formula, and then I'm going to teach you the sales hook formula. So this is where I want you to pull up a doc or bust out a pen if you're old school. Remember these things? The ink comes out the end, and it's weird. And so first thing I want you to write down is the persona joke formula. It goes like this: identity, struggle, discovery, and then surprise. All right. Identity, struggle, discovery, surprise. Now, you'll notice in that formula already, the key thing there is the surprise. Because in comedy, the reason we laugh is because, didn't see that coming. Hilarity, right? Pretty simple. So one place, by the way, you'll always see this joke formula is when comedians are on, thank you, Morgan. When comedians are on national TV, when they come out, because they have to, there's a ton of comedians on TV now, of course. And so when a comic walks out on a stage like the Tonight Show or one of these shows, that first joke has been worked on, approved, honed every which way possible, because the whole goal of a comic walking on a stage in front of a live television audience is to make that impact and be remembered and set the tone for what they're going to do, how they're going to get laughs over the next 5 minutes. And so you'll always see the persona joke formula used in that first bit of that first joke on a set like this. So one that I love, an example of a comedian named Karen Rontowski, Look her up. She's hilarious. First time she was on Letterman, David Letterman used to host the Late Late Show. He is, of course, a legend. I'm sure you know about Letterman. And it was a big deal for her to get on the show. And so her opening joke, she walked out and she said, "My kids were so bad in Walmart today that I pulled a fly swatter off the shelf and spanked them. And as soon as the fly swatter hit their ass, I realized I don't have kids." It's a great joke. It's hilarious. It's relatable. It's quick. And, you know, so if you look at it, it follows that formula exactly. Identity is an angry mom in the store. And the struggle is her kids are acting crazy. The discovery is the fly swatter. She's like, I'm just now going to beat my kids. The surprise is that not even her kids. She's just beating random children. And so that's why it's funny, because we didn't see that coming. Big surprise. Completely establishes who she is, her mindset. You're set up now for the rest of her set. All right. To use this for us, obviously, we don't necessarily want to talk about beating children, or we don't even really want to surprise our audience, right? We want to show them that what we have to present them can get a result, that it's proven to get results, and that if they use it, they can get the same result. So it then becomes the 60-second sales hook is the same formula, except the very last part. It's identity, struggle, discovery, result. All right. So an example, let me just look at my slides that I fortunately can't share with you. So here would be my 60-second sales hook for this exact thing. I say, "Hi, I'm Kevin Rogers. I spent years as a dead broke stand-up comedian until I discovered how a simple joke formula can be used as an irresistible sales hook, and began teaching marketers how to use it to skyrocket their online sales. Now I'm one of the most in-demand copywriting consultants online, earning more in 1 month than I once did in an entire year. If you'd like to discover the 60-second sales hook formula and use it in your own business to see similar results, just enter your email below and I'll see you on the next page." That's it. I mean, what is that? 20 seconds? But do you see how it followed the exact same formula? Super cool, super simple, and anybody can use it. And so, by the way, I want to give you the book. It's the formula's in the book. The whole book is only like 50 pages, straight to the point. It's, if you go to 60secondsaleshook.com, you can get the book for free right there. And so you'll see it everywhere. Again, if I could share my slides, I'd show you that. Once you understand this formula, you'll see it everywhere. I've seen it in, multi-million-dollar ad campaigns with, when Jessica Simpson was hired to work with Weight Watchers. That's the exact formula they used. You'll see it all the times, businesses like Dyson telling their origin story. How do they come up with these amazing, innovative products? Like, what's going on there? You see it on the back of candy bars. Go to the boutique candy aisle of your favorite health food store and start reading the wrappers on the candy bars. They very often will tell their 60-second sales hook why they make this chocolate the way they do, why it benefits the communities it does, things like that. And so PayPal uses it all the time in their marketing. Famous songs. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer had a very shiny nose. That's identity, right? If you ever saw it, you'd say it glows. The struggle, all of the other reindeer used to laugh, call him names. They never let him play in their games. The discovery, one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, "Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight?" The result, all the reindeer loved him, and they shouted with glee, everyone. Glee. That's intense level of acceptance. So you can see that this formula lives all around us. And part of the reason it's so effective is because people recognize it has a pattern and they fall into it. The beauty of it is that you don't have to ever worry about it feeling like a hack thing that people have seen a million times or being too ignorable or formulaic, because what you color in makes it yours, right? How you color in the struggle, the discovery, the result, obviously, is what makes it uniquely yours. So hopefully that's helpful, and you're getting all the details there. Now, I want to quickly give you 5 places that you can use this. All right. When you write it, and you can use it almost in the same exact form everywhere. Number one, the most powerful place I've used it and seen it used is to pitch a lead magnet. Think about that proposition where you're list building and you have a lead magnet, a free download, and people want to know, well, who is this person who wants my email, and why should I trust them? Can I relate to this person? Can this person relate to me? Do they understand the problem I'm trying to solve? So if you talk a little bit about your struggle and how you solved it and the result you got, they're very compelled to trust you now. There's a bonding moment, and go ahead and trade their email to get more information from you. By the way, if you're struggling to say, well, wait a minute, my struggle, my origin story isn't the same as the one I solve for my clients, that's fine. Just use their story instead of yours. Use, it can even be, a summary of the common problems you solve, but it's best if you can use it to somebody's story exactly. Another great place is your about page. This is a perfect thing to put on your about page, because there's always a lot of controversy about what goes on in about page. Is it really about you? It should really be about them. But I'm personally annoyed when I go to an about page to learn about whose website I'm on, and they never tell me who they are. They immediately go, hey, I'm Jim. I'm from Toledo, and enough about me. Let's talk about you. And no, I'm here I clicked about me to hear about you and how's things in Toledo, Jim. So use your about page to tell your story. And this is a way to make sure you do it succinctly and not let it drag on. Another great one is, here's a great one. If you use it for nothing else, customer testimonials. How many times have you, had somebody write you a love letter because they love your product, right? And you say back to them, hey, that's great. Would you mind giving me a testimonial? Obviously, that'd be great for my business. We'd love to hear your story around the product and everything. And they go, sure, I'll be happy to do that. And then they ghost you. You don't hear from them again, right? Happens all the time. The reason is because they want to make you happy. That's why they wrote you the love letter in the first place. But now they got writer's block. Now they're overthinking it. Now they're all jammed up. So give them this formula to write their testimonial. Just say, hey, all I need to know is, what were you struggling with before you found the product? How did using the products make things better? And then how is life different now than it was before you had the product? And they're like, oh, perfect. I can tell you that. And then they start typing and you got a great testimonial. All right. That's a good one. So obviously this works great for, you'll see this all the time in crowdfunding campaigns. The crowdfunding video, there's always the 5-minute video that tells the story. Perfect 60-second sales hook formula. YouTube trailers, great place to use them. Your Clubhouse intro. If you've been on a panel on Clubhouse, they always say, give us a really quick bio. And you're like, and it sounds like a boring resume. Give them your 60-second sales hook. Also put it in your profile, your bio of your Clubhouse profile. So that's it. There you go. 60secondsaleshook.com. You can get the book for free. The formula is right there. And I am happy now to take any questions.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Let's try this live. Let's have an experiment. So we have a volunteer that I'm going to invite to the stage. So let's see if this works. So I have dispatched an invite to getting ready.
Hey there.
Hello.
Hey,
So I'll leave, and you guys now figure it out.
All right, cool. How's it going, man?
Hey, going all right. Thanks so much for doing this.
Yeah.
So, how should we do this? Should I jump
Well,
in and
I'll
tell
just
you?
ask you the questions I need to know. Unless were
Yep.
you sort of
Okay.
writing it as I walked through the formula?
I was.
Perfect.
Excuse me. Yep.
You could either share what you came up with, or I can just ask you questions and we can sort of brainstorm it.
Sounds good. So for identity, I had everyone has some understanding of personas and values creating a user narrative, but they don't know how. The struggle is, and it's difficult with all the tools that we have. That user narrative is fragmented across tools and lots of browser tabs.
Okay.
The discovery is everyone wants to cross-functionally get on the same page and use the same narrative if possible. And the result is now you can with Personify.
Okay. Now help me understand a little bit what is user narrative and where do I experience that as a end user?
So typically, this is a tool that helps you build personas and discover them through user research rather than just inventing them out of thin air.
So your client is who?
So my client is typically agencies or students and institutions, students and teachers, or individual consultants.
Got it. And so you help them understand basically their customer avatar, their customer user persona, so that they can speak to them more directly. Okay, cool.
Yep.
So all right. And so the part that I felt, and this is always where people struggle, and because it's the part that really where the magic happens, is the discovery.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is the discovery is where you want to have a unique mechanism. You know that term, right? Something that you created and you gave a name to, that you are now the sole expert in because you invented it. But it may be very like some other things that already exist. But, you know, when we give a name to something and talk about how it was discovered, people give us ownership of it. And that's an important part of this. So for me, of course, it's called the 60-second sales hook. It means I invented it. I'm the only person who can officially judge whether it's correct or not, right? And that's powerful, by the way, in a lead magnet or a book. If people want to, you give them an actionable thing to do, and you're the only one who can grade their work. That's a great dialogue to have. Mm-hmm. So what would you say is the discovery? Do you have a unique mechanism, sort of proprietary name for something you created?
I don't. It's technically just a mixed methods research methodology that I've fine-tuned over like over a decade of doing research.
Yeah, I was gonna say mixed meth, but that's probably not good. Sounds like we're cooking meth. But something like that, it can be an acronym. It can be, you know, so that's just one tip from me. Like, go come up with something there, and it'll make it more powerful. Okay. But so here's what we'll do. I'm going to bring up the formula. I'm going to try one more time, probably without success, to no. All right, cancel that. So I'm going to read to you the formula, and you fill in the blanks as we go. All right.
Okay.
Hi, I'm. It's like a game. It's like an acting game. You say the word when your own.
Yep.
Okay. And how would you describe yourself? What do you do?
I help people figure out their user narrative.
Okay, great. I'm a user narrative expert from, where do you live?
Ashburn, Virginia.
Awesome. I'm a user narrative expert from Ashburn, Virginia. Struggle is, now are we using your struggle or the struggle of your typical client?
The struggle of the typical client.
Okay. So every day in my business, I help companies and agencies overcome what?
I'm trying to distill it down into
it's got to be plain speak.
The mess of creating a user narrative that is clear, coherent, actionable, usable, accessible.
Awesome. Perfect. And for years, I was really perplexed at how to simplify such a complex thing until I discovered, and then this is where you would say a system that maybe it's like I stumbled across researching something you wouldn't expect that makes this process fall in a line and become simple. I call it the right? And since then, my clients have these three great things happen. And so if you'd like to discover this thing I named, get it on the next page. Give me your email.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Awesome, man.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for jumping in the hot seat. That was fun.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Kevin. 30 minutes goes by like this. So we have a bunch of questions for you, Kevin, that actually we don't have time to. So can we ask them over social? Are you on Facebook? Are you on Twitter?
Yeah. Kevin Rogers, Copy Chief, on Facebook. Just look for me there. You'll find us.
Kevin Rogers, Copy Chief on Facebook. So guys, go find Kevin over there. Thanks, Kevin. See you later, man.
My pleasure. See you, bud.